He went in the church.
Yeah. I wish I knew more about the layout in there.
Well, in that case, I'll go first. I'm here every Sunday.
What's going on here?
Sorry to disturb you, Father. There was a robbery down the street. We were chasing a suspect, and he ducked into the church. We thought he might be hiding out here.
Is he armed?
No, I don't think so. Just one of those sneak thieves. Looked like a juvenile. Any luck, Dan?
No. He must have come out here. The church door was open. Where does this go?
Well, that's our back entrance. Leads out to the other street.
He must have ducked out while we were searching the church.
Well, it looks like we lost him. Sorry we had to bother you. Good night, Father.
Good night. Thank you very much, sir. Officer!
Please, sir, if you just listen to my side of the story, please.
Well,
Believe me, I'm innocent.
I don't know about that. Though I suppose anyone who would take refuge behind the statue of Our Lady deserves a little extra in the way of compassion. Come inside.
Thank you very much. Gee, you know that you're helping me like this. It makes me feel like Jean Valjean in Les Miserables. The bishop caught him stealing the silverware, you remember? And instead of turning him in, the good man protected him from the police. Les Miserables, that's a book by Victor Hugo.
Oh.
Oh, not that I'm a criminal like Jean Valjean, you understand. I just happened to be in the vicinity of this store where the burglar alarm went off, and I saw the police coming toward me.
I see.
And inasmuch as teenagers today are supposed to be guilty before they're even caught, I thought it best to run.
What were you doing out this hour of night?
Well...
At the library, studying up on Jean Valjean?
Oh, no, sir. I was on my way home from an art house on 7th Avenue.
Is that a fact? I didn't realize the art galleries were open this late.
I think he means a movie theater, Father, the kind that has a sign outside for adults only.
Oh, by the way, I still have my ticket stub here. This will back up my story. Well, it's all right with you gentlemen. I really should be getting home now. My parents worry.
Father O'Malley, I don't think we need to detain the young man any further, do you?
Well, that's up to you, Father, but I would like to have his name just in case.
Oh, yes, I understand. My name is Artie Weston. And I really would like to thank you both very much again for your touching concern and your heartwarming kindness.
Well, that's fine, Artie, but before you get too overcome with sentiment, you think you might give me your address, too?
Oh, yes, of course. 714 West 50th.
Well, good night, my boy. And careful on your way home now. The streets can be very dangerous this time of night.
Good night.
Father? Good night.
Now, you see there? Poor boy was just a victim of circumstances.
I just hope we're not the victims, Father.
Oh, how can you say that?
That theater stub had no date on it.
Oh, Chuck, you're too suspicious. I tell you, it's a pleasure to meet a young man with such good manners, wealth of charm, and command of the language.
May I point out, Father, that charm, politeness, and a glib tongue can cover up the most devious of intentions.
Oh, nonsense, Chuck. He didn't look a bit Irish.
Hi, Ed.
Oh, morning, Father.
I see by the papers you got hit last night, huh?
Yeah, somebody put a brick through the glass.
You think it really was juveniles?
Oh, it had to be, Father. They didn't even know about the burglar alarm. As soon as it started ringing, they just grabbed what they could carry and took off. I tell you, some of them juvenile delinquents I got in this crummy neighborhood. You know, there's 2 or 3 of them punks come in the store day before yesterday. Could have been casing the joint, talking too loud, you know, laughing too much, not buying anything. I knew they was up to something. I should have called the cops right then.
Well, what'd they get away with?
Doesn't it so transistor radios? They're worth $13 a piece. I tell you, all them wise guy kids ought to be locked up after 10 o'clock at night.
Say, Ed, do you know a boy named Weston? Artie Weston?
Artie Weston? No, why do you ask?
For no reason. Just wondered. Didn't somebody break in here a couple of months ago?
This is the 3rd time already. It's getting so the laws of the United States don't give no protection to patriotic American citizens. Sure, I got burglary insurance, but it takes me 6 weeks to get them radios from Japan.
See you, Ed.
Sure, Father.
Hello. Oh, hi, Chuck. What's up?
Well, I'm down here at the precinct waiting to see Lieutenant Harris. Checking to see if a boy named Artie Weston has any sort of record. Got something to do with a robbery last night at Ed Martin's. You know him by any chance?
Artie Weston? Yeah, he comes in here once in a while. I wouldn't call him a regular, though.
What kind of kid is he? I mean, what are his hobbies, or what sports does he go in for?
That's the funny thing about Artie. He's a real sharp kid, but he never participates in any sports. Well, when I try to get him interested, he refers to athletics as a primitive outlet, a throwback to man's fight for survival, and all that jazz.
Does he have any special friends, or anybody know him real well?
Well, everybody knows Artie. He's a character, but I wouldn't say he had any real friends or anyone who really knows him. Look, Chuck, let's see if I can't round up somebody. Let me call you back, huh? It sounds as though this is pretty important to you, Chuck.
Well, it could be pretty important to Artie, Tom.
Okay. Mitch? Charlie? You fellas come in here for a minute?
You want to see us, Mr. Caldwell?
Yeah, come on in. Sit down. Well, what do you know about Artie Weston?
Artie? Why?
Relax, Mitch. What kind of guy is he?
Artie's, he's just a guy.
Charlie?
Well, like Mitch says, he's, just a guy.
Oh, come on, fellas. I want an answer.
Well, Mr. Caldwell, we just wouldn't want to get Artie into any trouble or anything. You know how it is.
Yeah, never tell nobody nothing. Look, fellas, this is just between us. I'm not going to go to the cops. Now, what kind of guy is he?
Well, Artie's the kind of guy like when you talk to him, he's always got to come out on top. Me and Mitch, we got hold down the juvenile on this hubcap deal. It was a,
Bum rap?
Yeah, but the next day, Artie's got to take the plate right away from us. Right, Mitch? Yeah. We were all looking at this newspaper with this picture of this gangster who got killed from Las Vegas. They had a picture there showing the body and the blood and everything. And then Artie comes along and says, "Poor Uncle Harry. He was strong on muscle, but weak on brains."
It made the hubcap deal seem like nothing, huh?
Yeah, what a liar. You know, anytime somebody gets their picture in the paper, right away Artie makes out like the guy's a relative or a big friend of the family's or something.
Charlie, you go to school with him. How does he do there?
He's real large with the teachers. Gets A's and B's without even trying.
Another thing about Artie, he doesn't play any sports, and he's always knocking them. But whenever a sport comes up, he can tell you the rules and history of the game and everything.
Well, does he get the business about being so non-athletic?
Nah, he doesn't get the business too hard. One thing he's always talking about is judo and jujitsu.
He says some champion showed him how to bust a guy's arm in 2 seconds flat.
I guess nobody wants to learn the hard way, whether he's kidding or not.
That's about the size of it.
Well, thanks, fellas. Is there anything else?
No. Well, except his jobs.
Do you mean robberies?
Well, yeah, every once in a while he brags about, like, maybe he's mixed up in something like that, you know, running with some gang or something.
Well, you think he is just bragging, Charlie?
Well,
Mitch?
Well, we did until this morning.
What happened this morning?
Look, I don't want to say anything. I mean, I wouldn't want anyone ratting on me.
Look, Mitch, Father O'Malley's trying to help this guy, so let's have it.
Well, there was this appliance robbery last night, and this morning, Artie gave about 4 radios to some guys at school.
What kind of radios?
Those transistor radios. Show them, Charlie.
Made in Japan. Well, thanks, fellas.
Mr. Caldwell, it's really great of Father O'Malley trying to help Artie, but I mean,
what?
Well, I mean, can we trust Father?
Oh, get out of here!
No, nothing here. No record, no trouble with the police. What?
Well, I talked to a couple of fellas, Chuck. Mitch Conway and Charlie Sinkowski. Yeah, it seems Artie's kind of an oddball, always talking about the big jobs he's pulled. Well, they thought it was just big talk until this morning. He was giving away transistor radios at school. Gave one to Sinkowski.
Were they Japanese transistor radios?
Japanese transistor radios.
Thanks, Tom.
Oh, now, it is a very pleasant surprise to have you drop in on us like this, young man. What can I do for you?
Well, I just wanted to thank you, Father, for your understanding of the situation last night.
Oh, you're very welcome, I'm sure. And the fact that you dropped in now to pay your respects confirms my good opinion of you.
I have a little something for you, Father, to show my appreciation.
Oh. Well, no, I'm sure you shouldn't have done that. I don't... Oh, what have we here?
I hope you enjoy it, Father. It's a transistor radio. It's the latest thing from Japan.
Radio? Oh, no, I really couldn't take a thing like this. These surely are expensive. Are you sure you can afford it?
Oh, yes, sir. I get quite a generous allowance. It would make me awfully happy if you could see your way clear to take it.
Oh, well, all right, my boy. Thank you.
You're very welcome, I'm sure.
I thought you had someone in here with you, Father.
Just the Notre Dame team, Chuck.
Now on the short end, Notre Dame has moved the ball to the 10-yard line.
Hey, where'd you get this?
It was a gift. I'll tell you all about it when the game's over. We just made a first down on the 10-yard line.
The ball snapped. It's a drive through the line for a gain of 4 yards.
A gift from whom?
You know, the young man.
You mean, Artie? Artie Weston?
Yeah, that's his name, Artie. Only 6 yards to go.
Father Fitz, I think there's something you should know.
Whatever it is, you can keep.
Here we go. Donnelly fades back, but they get it away. Uh-oh, they're on him. He's nailed 2 yards, back to the line of scrimmage.
Under the circumstances, I don't think it can keep.
Chuck, please.
They're out of the huddle. The center snaps the ball. Donnelly fades back. He throws it. It's a beautiful
The only
pass.
thing stolen at the store last night were transistor radios.
Hogan snags it in the end zone for a touchdown.
Oh, this is more like it. 26 to 22. I tell you, Chucky. What were you saying just now?
I was saying that the only things that were stolen in that robbery last night were transistor radios. And Artie gave out 4 of them at school today.
Oh, my. What? Like this one?
Like this one.
And Notre Dame leads.
I don't even want Notre Dame to win if they have to do it on a crooked radio.
I believe the term is hot radio. Well, I'll admit it's only circumstantial evidence, but it's a pretty incriminating set of circumstances for Artie.
I suppose it's our civic duty to turn him in, as they say. I hate to think what prison life would do to those lovely manners of his.
Well, they won't pop him right into prison, but I think we ought to let Lieutenant Harris know what we found out.
What will he do?
Make a quiet investigation, check out the boy and his background.
Chuck, as long as it's all going to be quiet and all, perhaps we could check out the boy ourselves first. It'll only save the police a whole lot of time and trouble. And when you consider the cost of maintaining a police force, it can only work out to the financial benefit of the taxpayers of the city of New York. And there's another reason.
There's only one reason. And we both know what it is.
I know. I'm just a soft-hearted old pushover.
No, Father. You're a warm-hearted human being who doesn't want to see a boy get in trouble.
I can't help feeling in my bones that maybe there must be some other explanation of what's happened. And I can't forget that Jean Valjean story and the bishop giving him a second chance.
All right, I'll tell you what. The boy isn't trying to run away. So before we do anything, I'll go see his family. I'll let them know what we know, and then maybe through them we can help him.
Thank you, Chuck. It's probably the only chance I'll ever have to feel like a bishop.
Mr. Caldwell's here asking for Father O'Malley.
Oh, and have him come in. Ah, Tom.
Father?
Sit down. Will you have a bit of lunch?
Oh, thanks, Father. I've already eaten.
Oh.
Father O'Malley at a meeting?
Well, you should be back about 2:30. Anything I can do for you?
No, Father. I just stopped by to tell him I'm on my way.
On your way where?
To talk to Artie Weston's father.
What do you know about Artie Weston?
Well, Father O'Malley and I have been working on this together, Father.
And he turned the problem over to you?
Well, yes, in a way, Father. Well, see, it turned out that I know Artie Weston's father. I didn't make the connection till this morning.
Oh, you know Artie's father?
Yes, Father. And Artie is about as unlike his father as a boy can be. Father O'Malley and I talked it over, and he decided it might be best if I talked to him. So I made an appointment.
To tell him his son ought to be behind bars?
Well, no, Father, but to inform him of Artie's activities and maybe a little pointed discussion on the proper raising of children.
In view of Artie's behavior, do you think the boy's father is qualified to discuss the raising of children?
Well, he might have a few thoughts on the matter, Father. Now, he is a very successful pediatrician, and he is the author of this book.
Good one. There's lots of monsters in it.
Really? Well, thank you. I'm a real nut on monsters.
Mr. Caldwell,
Yes.
Dr. Weston will see you now.
Thank you.
If he tries to give you a shot, just start screaming. He gives you candy.
Okay.
Yes, you're Caldwell. Community Center and Boys Club. We met at that fundraising dinner. Or was it lunch? Sit down.
Thank you. Well, Doctor, as a matter of fact, it was breakfast.
Oh?
Dr. Weston, I thought it might be best if we discuss this in person. It involves your son, Artie.
Arthur? He's not in any trouble, is he?
I hope not.
Well, please, don't beat around the bush. What is it?
Well, Dr. Weston, we have reason to believe that Artie may have broken into and robbed a store the other night, either alone or with some other boys.
Caldwell, you had me a little worried there for a minute. I thought maybe Artie had pulled some gag. He has quite a sense of humor. I remember one time at school, he filled a basketball with water. I got a call from the school. Oh, you'd have thought the world had come to an end. But accusing Artie of breaking into a store, that's really ridiculous.
Well, Dr. Weston, I wouldn't be here if I thought it was ridiculous.
Oh, well, I don't know what you heard or where, but I think I have a slight advantage over you in this matter. I know my boy.
But Dr. Weston...
You want me to tell you about Arthur? Arthur has had the highest, or next to the highest marks in his class since he was 10 years old. Arthur is captain of his high school debating team. Arthur's editor of the school paper, chairman of the student council.
Dr. Weston, that still does not change the fact that a store was broken into and some transistor radios were stolen.
Radios? Well, he has his own FM, stereo. What would Arthur want with radios? Mr. Caldwell, while we don't spoil Arthur, we do give him things that a boy needs for his happiness and development. He gets, yes, I'd call it a generous allowance. He's been brought up to have the greatest respect for property and the law, and he's been made aware that he has the advantages and the ability to become a success in the world.
In other words, you're just one big happy family.
Well, naturally, we don't agree on everything. I wanted Arthur to go away to school, one of the best prep schools we have. But he prefers public school. But I didn't push it. He prefers to make his own friends. Well, that's fine with us. Of course, we prefer him to go out with the sons and daughters of people we know, old family friends. But I didn't frustrate him. To a certain degree, a boy has to find his own way. His mother and I feel he'll see it our way in time. Nothing like a healthy difference of opinion.
I just hope it is healthy.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, Dr. Weston, that if your attitude is forcing Artie to steal just in order to prove something, I think it's a little sick.
Oh, well, you're getting me angry and you're wasting my time. The first condition is bad for my heart, and the second is bad for my bank account. So why don't we knock it off?
Then I take it you're not interested in the little details.
What are the little details? You connect Artie with this robbery?
Doctor, he was seen near the store the other night, and today he was giving away transistor radios.
Who says all this?
Charlie Sinkowski.
And you believe him?
I have no reason not to.
And I have every reason not to. How do you know he's not making this up? Perhaps he's involved in this himself and covering up by putting the blame on my boy. You should know how it is. Arthur's different. So show him up. Get him in trouble if you can. Who is Charlie Sinkowski? Ever been in trouble?
Yes, he has. But there are other factors. Father O'Malley.
Father who?
O'Malley. He's one of the priests from St. Dominic's.
Why is he interfering? Look, we're not members of his church. If my boy needs spiritual or psychological guidance, we'll provide it ourselves.
Hey, Dominic's. Hello, Tom. How'd you make out with Dr. Weston?
I struck out. But when I got back here, things really began to pop.
How do you mean?
Well, the police picked up Mitch Conway and Charlie Sinkowski. They found the transistor on Charlie, and that was the ball game.
Did Charlie say where he got the transistors?
No, of course not. You know how these kids are.
I know. They just don't rat. Look, tell Joe Harris he's got the wrong boys. Tell him he has my word on it. No. Tell him within the hour I'll have the right one. Tom, please, don't argue. Just do it, huh?
Okay, but you're sticking your neck way out. Okay, Chuck, okay, I'll tell him.
What's up?
Joe, you got the wrong boys.
So you said before.
Yeah, but this time Father O'Malley guarantees you'll have the right boy within the hour.
I can't take a chance on that.
Well, can you take a chance calling Father O'Malley a liar?
I'll release the other two.
Hello, Artie.
Oh, hello. It isn't one of my benefactors.
Did you know Mitch Conway and Charlie Sinkowski are in jail?
Oh, that's too bad. Any particular reason this time?
For robbing Martin's TV store. We both know they didn't do it. We both know who did it.
Oh? Do we now, Father?
Yes, Artie, we do. You. This transistor and the ones you gave away at school the day after the robbery came from Martin's TV store, didn't they?
Well, that could be a possibility.
On the night of the robbery, we found you hiding in the rectory garden.
I hate to upset your chain of reasoning, but as they say in the more literate crime novels, I ain't the one who done it.
Okay, Artie. As far as I'm concerned, you've been babied enough. Gave you a chance to clear yourself, and you blew it.
Yes, tell the minions of the law I'll be here, waiting.
You're pretty cocky, aren't you? What happens when Charlie Sinkowski tells the police where he got those radios?
Oh, don't be naive. People like Mitch and Sinkowski don't rat. It's part of the code. Anyway, would the police take the word of someone like Sinkowski over mine?
They'll take my word when I tell them where I got this one.
Well, then what's keeping you? You've got the ball, run with it, as the saying goes.
You know, I talk to a lot of rebellious, smart-aleck teenagers in my work. Some of them are dirty, some of them are crude, some of them stupid. A lot of people call them punks. I don't agree with the term, but that's the word they use, punks. Now, you're well-dressed, clean, intelligent. But, Artie, the way you're heading is not going to make one bit of difference. People are going to decide pretty quickly that a well-dressed, literate punk is still a punk.
You know, if this was a B movie and you were a cop, my next line would be, take off that uniform and say that. I wonder if that works with the cassock.
You're not going to tell the police where you got those radios.
I don't see any reason to tell anybody anything.
Okay, Artie, it's your decision. Don't try to run away, they'll find you.
Look, Tom, you tell me the first two, Conway and Sinkowski, are innocent, so I let them go. Now you tell me Dr. Weston's kid is the crook.
That's right. Father O'Malley, sure he is.
Sure, Father O'Malley, sure. But if I haul him into juvenile court, will the judge be sure?
Look, Joe, he gave Charlie one of those radios, and he gave one to Father Fitzgibbon. He gave 3 or 4 others away. Now, isn't that enough to pick the kid up on?
I wish it were. But here's a kid who's clean. No record. Prominent family. Suppose I pick him up and all of a sudden Father O'Malley decides he's innocent. Where does that leave me? Holding a big fat bag.
You won't pick up the Weston kid, but you would pick up Charlie and Mitch, huh?
Those two have been in trouble before.
Yeah, and they haven't got rich fathers to provide them with a nice high-priced lawyer.
Tom, that's hitting below the belt. You know, if I had something solid to go on, I'd book him no matter who his father is.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Joe. I just got a little hot under the collar. Look, Joe, Ed Martin, the fellow who owned the store, said that he spotted a couple of kids casing the place the day of the robbery. What if he identified the Weston kid? Would that help?
Well, yeah, but I can't pull him down for a lineup on that supposition.
Well, what if we got Ed Martin to come over here tonight? You know, very informal, and he just happened to recognize the Weston boy. Then nobody's neck would be out, okay?
Okay. You sure you can get the Weston kid to show up?
Father O'Malley and I will take care of that. Okay?
All right. You know the trouble with the precinct?
What, Joe?
Too many priests and social workers playing detectives.
What makes you so sure Artie will show up?
Look, he's a real nut on judo. We put on a judo exhibition. He's bound to show up. Yeah, even if just to rub it in while the cops haven't picked him up. He loves to play the big shot.
Okay, I'll have Ed Martin there. If you need a judo expert, I have one. Kiyose Yamamoto.
Great. A parishioner?
No, a visitor. I've been working out with him. Incidentally, when you introduce him, it's Father Yamamoto.
Father Yamamoto?
Yeah, that's right, Father Yamamoto. He's a Marino father.
Okay, Chuck. Goodbye.
And so, from an ancient Japanese art reserved only for the nobility, judo has developed into a modern sport, taught and enjoyed by everyone in almost every country of the world.
Well, are there any questions you boys or you fathers who happen to show up would like to ask Father Yamamoto?
Yeah. Could a guy learn to break boards with his hands like I saw some guys do on the Ed Sullivan Show?
Oh, yes. But a much more effective method is with a crosscut saw.
I noticed, sir, that you're a black belt. Have you reached fifth master grade?
Well, no, I'm a black black belt. Are you by any chance a judoka?
No, but I'm acquainted with a member of the London Judo Society, and when he was over here, he gave me a few pointers.
Oh, then perhaps you could help me demonstrate some of the basic throws for the boys.
No, I don't think so.
Come on, Artie.
Yeah,
Come on, Artie.
Go ahead, Sister Trey.
Yeah, come on, Big Shot. You're always bragging how you can bust a guy's arm.
Yeah, come on.
No. Look, I'm out of practice. Besides, sir, you're a black belt and everything.
Well, then maybe you'd like to work with a pupil of mine I brought along. He's only a white belt.
Come on, Artie.
Come on. Well, I guess I could. Where do I take off my jacket?
What goes, Tom? I see the Weston boy. Where's Martin from the TV store?
He'll be here, Joe. He promised me.
Well, are you ready, son?
I suppose so. Where's this pupil of yours?
Oh, he'll be right out. He's changing. Ah, here we are. You all know Father O'Malley. He's been studying with me off and on for 2 or 3 months.
Oh, I'm not very good, fellas.
Oh, that's all right, Father. We have a beginner here who's volunteered to demonstrate some of the basic falls with you.
Good.
Go ahead, Artie.
Mr. Caldwell, with him?
Sure. Come on, Artie. I'm out of uniform now.
Yeah, what's the matter, Artie? You chicken?
Murder the bum, Father.
Break him in half. He's all dark, Father.
Come on, Father.
I've only read a book on judo.
Huh? Next time I come for you, grab my lapels.
Come on, Artie, come on.
All right, gentlemen. I think we should stop and analyze some of these throws. And realize our young friend here was so advanced.
Yeah, me too.
I think I can show you some footworks in the diagram. The main thing is always stay in doubt.
Well, you had a chance to look all the boys over, Mr. Martin?
Yeah, I seen them all pretty good.
You recognize any that might have been in your store?
I sure did.
Would you point them out?
Yeah, easy. It's a kid that was just on the mat with you.
Artie. You think he's the one who swiped the radios?
Swiped them? Nothing. The day after the robbery, that kid walked in my store and bought 5 of them, cash money.
You look kind of funny, Father. Did you get the wind knocked out of you on the back?
Not on the mat, Lieutenant. Not on the mat. How you feeling, Artie?
Pretty well, considering. Listen, I guess I ought to thank you for making me look so good out there in front of everybody.
Forget it.
The way I talked to you in the park today, I wouldn't have been surprised if you'd really clobbered me.
Well, I guess some of my talking was a little ill-advised, too. I just found out you bought those radios I accused you of stealing. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
We were both mistaken about you, Artie. You have to admit things look pretty bad.
You said I helped you out there on the mat. How about you helping us now?
How?
Tell us why you bought those radios and gave them away.
Look, what do you have to know that for?
Well, we don't have to know it, but we'd like to know it because we want to help you. Don't you believe that?
Artie, how about it? What about the radios?
Well, it's kind of hard for a guy to have to admit that he had to buy all his friends.
You, one of the guys think you were big shots. Bigger operator than anybody.
Yeah. Didn't you realize that by letting people think you stole those radios, you might also be buying some enemies?
Father, when you're as lonely as I am, even enemies are better than nothing.
Look, Artie, if you want people to like you, you just have to let them know you. Now, how can people get to know you if you hide behind a lot of phony talk and this wise guy know-it-all attitude?
Oh, you don't know the way it is. I'd give anything to be one of the guys.
Well, pretending to steal and acting like a big shot is the wrong way to be one of the guys.
Father, for a guy like me, there is no right way. I'm no good at sports. Every time I try to talk to the guys, they'd act as if I was some kind of creep.
Maybe you try too hard.
At least this way they knew I was alive. Boy, I made myself a character.
But, Artie, why did you lead Father O'Malley on? Why didn't you level with him? Didn't you realize that at least he was trying to help you?
Yes. I think that's what made me so sore. All of a sudden, everyone was so nice to me. They helped me. Made me feel creepy. Maybe it's because I wasn't used to it.
What about your father? Can't you talk this over with him?
Talk this over with my father. Oh, boy, that's a joke. I don't even know my father well enough to talk to him.
He thinks you're pals.
Pals? How can we be pals? All my life, he's been spending all his time with other kids. You know, I remember once I wanted to talk to him about going on a camping trip. And he put me off, and he put me off. You know what I finally did? I called him up at his office and made an appointment. Yeah. All I got was a bawling out for bothering him with my jokes. Oh, I hate that man.
No, you don't hate him. You just resent the fact that he has time for every other kid and none for you. So you rebel against everything he stands for. The private schools, the dates with his friends' daughters, You know, Artie, you're a status seeker in reverse. I'll bet your father would understand if you let him know how you feel and just sit down and talk it over with him.
Yeah, where? In his office? At the hospital between tonsillectomies?
Now, look, Artie, I talked to your father the other day. Now, I admit we didn't get very far, but that's partially because I had the wrong slant on you. Now, would you mind if I talked to him again? Might help to get things straightened out.
No, go ahead. Be, as they say, my guest. Hey, listen. Tell him you're a rich person and you got the measles, and he'll let you in without even waiting.
I've had it for almost 20 years, Mr. Caldwell. It's called Adolescence by Broder.
Very attractive. Broder, you say?
You never heard of him. Anatomy professor of mine in med school, amateur sculptor. When I entered pediatrics, he gave me this for the office. Said in the rough days ahead, it might keep me from forgetting that children are also people. After what you just told me about Arthur, I guess I should have looked at it more.
Oh, Dr. Weston, don't be so hard on yourself. Children are people. And I guess like most people his age, Artie's pretty well mixed up.
But to practically pose as a thief to win acceptance. The boy must have been desperate.
Well, I guess it would make any kid desperate to think that his father didn't have time for him. Dr. Weston, we had kids at the center who would steal cars just to get their parents to notice them. They didn't care whether they were caught or punished. They just wanted somebody to know that they were alive.
I know, but that's always something that happens to somebody else's kid. But me, a pediatrician, author of Do You Know Your Child? You know what this is, Mr. Caldwell? It's the old story of the shoemaker's child not having decent shoes.
It's too bad we can't solve Artie's problems by giving him a new pair of sneakers.
How can I solve them? My son and I can't suddenly establish a relationship overnight. It'll take time.
I know. Dr. Weston, now you said that you let Artie make his own decisions. But I'm afraid, like so many parents, you were only happy if he made them your way. I think right now Artie needs his freedom. Real freedom. To think his own thoughts, to make his own decisions. And not have you second-guessing him on his choice of school or friends.
You mean lay off the social bit?
Exactly. I think the most hopeful thing that I've seen in Artie is his new interest in the community center. Now, if you can just keep him going there, and, well, I think that maybe he'll relax. Make the kind of friends he needs. Well, I know they're not all angels, but most of them are pretty good guys. The most important thing, Dr. Weston, is that Artie likes him, and he wants him to like him.
Sure, but how can I get him to go? It'd be just like my private school suggestion and all the rest. Whatever I tell Arthur to do practically guarantees he'll do just the opposite.
Dr. Weston, why don't you use some of that child psychology you charge all the fancy prices for?
What? You know, that might work. To cinch it, I might tell him I'd rather he play tennis or golf at my club after school.
Oh, why not try it? You get him coming there, and I guarantee you I'll keep his interest up.
Thank you, Tom. I'm sorry I practically kicked you out the last time.
Well, that's okay. In my line of work, I'm used to it.
You know, when Professor Broder gave me this, he said, someday it might be worth a fortune. I never realized until right now that he wasn't talking about money.
There we are.
Artie insisted I give it back to you.
She's been on the worse for wear.
I wish I could say the same, Father Fitzgibbon. To use a current teenage expression, this experience with Artie Weston has left me a little shook. I certainly goofed this one.
If it's any consolation to you, Chuck, let me tell you, I've goofed a few in my time, too. Making mistakes seems to be one of our occupational hazards, I'm afraid. But what about the boy's father? Has anybody told him that his son is no longer a suspected highwayman?
Yes, Tom talked to Dr. Weston this morning. He says his attitude toward his son has changed considerably.
Oh, I should hope so. A pediatrician's boy in jail would hardly be a good advertisement for the man.
Well, I certainly have to hand it to you, Father Fitzgibbon. You were right about Artie from the very beginning. You certainly showed me up with your knowledge of psychology.
Father O'Malley, when a boy comes to St. Dominic's, hides behind the statue of Our Lady, quotes a literary classic with the bishop for a hero, and then gives me a radio that favors Notre Dame, that's all the psychology I need to tell you he's a paragon of virtue.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. All right, now, try that on me, Artie. Remember 3 steps. Slide. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, good, Artie. Charlie, try with Artie. Try it.
How's he doing, Father?
Oh, very well. Next time he pulls a hip throw, no one will have to go along with it to make it work. I'm letting Artie coach some of the other boys who's just starting. Well, fine, Artie.
Well, he can't be too good, Father. He hasn't busted anyone's arm yet.
You like me to practice on yours, Mitch?
All right, Artie, take 5.
Hello, Mr. Colwell.
Hi. Say, did you hear they caught those characters who robbed the store?
Yeah. I'm sure glad it wasn't anyone from around here.
So am I. The way you're going out there, you'll be at least a green belt in no time at all.
Well, I don't know about that. Boy, reading about it and doing it is sure 2 different things.
Yeah. I hear you signed up for the basketball team. What's the matter? You getting to like this place? You've been here every day this week.
Yeah. But I've had to be devious about it. All week I told my father I was at the club playing tennis.
Oh. Oh, Artie.
He doesn't want me hanging around the center. Says you can't meet any important people there.
Well, Artie, I got a little news for you. I think it's safe to tell you now.
Oh? What's that, Mr. Colwell?
All week I've been telling your father where you've really been. And he's been delighted.
But he gave me this big lecture about not wasting my time hanging around here.
I know, and I convinced him that the center would do you good. But he said if he told you to come here, you'd stay away. So he told you the opposite, and here you are.
I mean, my dad spent all that time and trouble on me?
He sure did. You gonna tell him I spilled the beans?
Well, yeah, sure. We can't keep up that gag forever. But you know what I'm gonna do?
What?
All next week, I'm gonna tell him I'm out playing tennis or golf or something.
Artie, what's your point?
Well, this may sound kooky, but my dad sneaking around like that, it's one of the nicest things he's ever done for me. I guess I just want to enjoy it a few more days.
Artie, you know what? I don't think that's kooky at all.